So guys, this is my weekly report for July 3rd. It's already July. I mean, half the year is already gone. It's just going by so fast. But anyway, give you a little idea what I've been doing. Obviously, I've been down in the Delta, been doing really well. Actually, we had a minus tide this last week, and I went up by Rio Vista and got up on these flats when the water came really up real high, and the stripers were loaded in there. I had Denise and her sister Connie there, and we probably put over 40 fish in the boat. It was an awesome day. Caught a lot of bass, a lot of stripers, but the biggest striper was probably 7 pounds, but it's just a lot of action. They get up in these flats and these weeds, and they start feeding, their main diet is crawdads. So they're up there chewing on the crawdads, and when that water comes up about 2 feet higher than normal, when you have a negative tide, those fish go up in those big flats. I couldn't even get to these areas on a normal tide. You couldn't get in there, and it goes back probably about at least 100, 200 yards. And once the water comes up, and it'll get in about 1.5 to 2 feet of water, and just hammered them. And normally, you can't get in there because it's less than 6 inches deep, but the crawdads make that their home. But when the minus tide comes and the water rises high enough, those fish just go up there and have a heyday, because you got to imagine how many crawdads there are when the water is normal, it doesn't come up, and it's only 6 inches deep. Those crawdads will multiply, they feed in there like crazy, but when the water comes up 2 feet higher, those fish just go in there and have a heyday. And we went back in that island and just tore them up. Then I went to Berryessa again, with this decontamination stuff going on. One of the boats is tagged for berryessa, another one's, I just using a Delta. But the Kokanee fishing is off the hook. A lot of lost fish. I was talking to Big Nate the other day about how many fish, we're losing coming unbuttoned. I tried all different kind of things, but I do use small hooks, and Nate told me he went up to hook bigger, and he seemed to lose less, but he's still losing a bunch. If you watch his reports, he's losing a lot of fish, and I imagine everybody else is. It's just that time of the year, their mouths haven't hardened up yet, and a bunch of fish are coming unbuttoned. But that's what I did. We had Kokanee up to 17 inch. I was with Roger and Rick with Blade Runner, and we had a good day. We had some lows, which everybody's having, and then all of a sudden they just start biting like crazy. And most of the Kokanee were in probably, I want to say 50 to 70 feet. I would say most of them, like in the midday, were down to 70 feet. But if you want to catch some Kokanee, berryessa is a good place to go. But that's what I did. Anyway, other stuff going on in the ocean fishing. I haven't heard too much about bluefin. I know guys are trying to get out, the weather permits, but I haven't heard anything from the guys that I know. And the rock fishing's still open, the 20 fathoms, which is shallow. And I've always done good more toward the fall over there at Bodega Bay, going up north to Fort Ross and fishing up there. And usually around November, around crab season, those lingcods come in the shallow water to spawn, and we tear them up there. I did a video, a couple years ago now, but it's still posted on Bodega Bay how I was catching all those big lingcods. But if you want to get up there and go and get a sack of fish, I think the best guy to get a hold of is the Rick Powers. So anyway, other stuff going on in the bay. Come inside the bay, the halibut and striper fishing is still crazy off the hook. Jay Lopes, Richie Acosta, Steve Mitchell, Cal Don, all those guys are hammering them still. There's still a lot of stripers in the system there, a lot of halibut. I've seen Jay's post where he has some nice halibut. You got to watch the tides. If you go there and you see it's a red tide on your tide book, or on your phone, on Tide Graph or whatever app you're using, it makes it tough for the halibut. Stripers will bite like crazy, but the halibuts will hunker down in the mud when you get into that real fast water. So watch your tides. I know this week now through Monday is good tides for halibut in the bay, and I'm sure you could always catch stripers. Angel Island, Treasure Island, they're fishing a little bit deeper. Got to use live bait. I'm pretty sure the live bait receiver still has them. And the best way to do this, guys, is use a 3-way, and then whatever weight needs to take you down 8 to 12 ounce, and then use a circle hook and use about a 3 or 4 foot leader. Put it in a rod holder and just drift that. And you put that anchovy on, hook it from the bottom up and through both lips, because if you only hook it through one, they're going to drown. So hook it through both lips and then just drag them around and leave that rod in the holder until you see it double up. And then just grab it and start reeling. Don't set the hook. But the fishing down there is off the hook. I imagine a lot of the stripers are going to start heading out, go outside the Golden Gate, head up to Pacifica. And I'm sure guys are catching fish over there now on throwing iron, which are spoons, or throwing topwater lure in the surf. I know a lot of guys do it at night, and they do really well at night there also. Coming in a little closer now, the Delta. Like I said, I had an awesome day striper fishing. I know there's still guys up north drifting bluegill, and they're there every day, so I know they're catching them. But I've been catching them spotty. A lot of them took off, but a lot of them are hanging around that Rio Vista area. Like I said, we got into a massive school there the other day and just had a ball. The bass fishing's been really good. The size is downsized a little bit. We're in the post spawn now, so a lot of the bass are getting a little more difficult to find. You could probably start throwing more frogs, start punching more. I'm still catching a lot of them, on chatterbaits out in the grass. And I've been catching bigger fish. So if I go in tight, those sinkles and flip D-bombs and brush hogs or whatever, I've been catching fish up to like 3 pounds. Then when I got on these big flats and I'm actually fishing for stripers, I'm not catching a lot, but I'm getting anywhere from probably 5 to 10 bass each trip out in these flats. But you get nice ones. A week and a half ago, I had a couple guys out there, and we had fish over 7. Then about 3 days later, went out again and had one over 8. And those were all caught out in the weed flats. The fish will start moving into the more current areas rather than the calm areas. So if you're looking for bigger bass in the Delta, go try to find water where it's moving a little faster. Okay, coming in a little closer now, we got the river. Okay, all these things I'm telling you guys, you need to also look on California Fish and Game's website and make sure that these things I'm telling you are true, because they do change their minds a lot. And we're going to have a salmon season in the rivers. No, there will be no salmon fishing in the Sacramento River system. The Feather, the American, and the McCollum are going to be open. So they're going to open July 16th. The Feather goes from the 16th of July to September 15th. The American goes from July 16th to October 15th or the 30th. They haven't made up their mind yet. The McCollum is July 16th to October 31st. So make sure you read the regs, and there's certain areas on those rivers that are closed. So there's only certain sections that are open. So you have to go to Fish and Game site and then see where it's open and closed, because you could be on the American and it's open, but you're in the wrong area, you're going to get fined. So check out the regs and just make sure before you're going. Stripers in our river systems are starting to slow down. There's still some local yokos. The shad fishing is also slowing down. It's coming down to starting to be the end of the season. There's not as many people out there. And then Americans still catching stripers, which I think a lot of them are local, and they're also catching shad. I know Austin Wilson, he's been doing really well. And one of the things about those shad, it's legal to tie one of them things on your hook and throw it out. And he's been catching a 20-pound plus striper every time he goes out. And Kyler Perry also is one of the guys that's been doing it and still catching once in a while a summer run steelhead. But they're also doing the stripers and the shad. So if it's something you want to hook up, give one of them guys a call. Okay, we're going to go to the lakes and talk about kokanee fishing. New Melones is still one of the hottest lakes. Kyle Wise, who guides there, usually on the water and off the water by 9 or 10 o'clock. It's off the hook. He's getting cokes up to 19 inches, which is big for this time of the year. And one of the things about it is they were going to open a decontamination center there, but I don't know if they have or not yet. You might want to call and ask them. Otherwise, you got to go up there, put a red tag on it, and you can't go back for 30 days. So sometimes it's just a pain to do all this stuff. So you could always get a hold of Kyle Wise, and he could tell you whether they're open the decontamination center or not, or you could call the lake and ask them. Berryessa, it's been pretty decent. I've been going up there almost every week. The Kokanee bite's starting to pick up really well now. They're starting to school up a little bit more. I was there the other day, and most of when we got into them, we'd get 2 or 3 hookups at the same time, and then you would not catch anything for a while. And then it'll just, all of a sudden you'll get into them again, and you'll catch, you'll get 2 or 3 hookups. We're losing a lot of fish. A lot of fish keep coming unbuttoned. I don't know, their mouths are a little bit soft. They haven't gotten hard yet. A little bit tough. Big Nate's up there, Troy Bar. They've been doing real well. They're on the water almost every day. And I saw Big Nate the other day, and I asked him, "Yeah, you still losing a lot of fish?" And he said, "Yeah." So he said he went to a bigger hook. I'm using size 4s, and he went to 2s, and he said he's been having better luck, but he's still losing a lot. I think the other day he told me he lost 20 or something. So, the ratio is still, the losing rate is still pretty high. Stampede, I got a good friend, Kevin, was up there the other day, called me and said, "Hey, it's just off the hook crazy. They're getting a little bigger." He's catching fish in that 10 to 12 inch range. He was out there with his wife the other day, had 4 downriggers out, but he never had all 4 out at the same time because they're biting so fast. He said it's just off the hook. You can catch and keep, your 5 fish. So him and his wife caught 10. And it didn't even take him 45 minutes, plus all the little ones that he let go. So it's on fire up there. Union Valley, Whiskey Town, Shasta, Boulder's Bar. I'm sure, we're in July now, so it's in the peak of the Kokanee fishing. So if it's Kokanee you want to go after, go up there and give it a try. When we were at Berryessa, I'll tell you guys, I was using short setback, short leaders on my Dodger. I'm using a 4-inch Dodger, and I'm running like an 8-inch leader. And then also my setback is real short. So usually I'll set, when I'm using a couple rods, I use one, I'll set it out at 30 feet, and the other one's less than 10. And the other day I set them back at 6 to 8 feet, and I was getting slammed on that one more than anything. So keep it short. When you keep it short, it has more erratic action. Okay, trout, Sea Lakes, probably good. Easiest way is to go on the website, see if they're planting, and then, if you're on the bank or whatever. Berryessa still, you could catch a ton of trout. I can't believe my meter, in that 30-foot range is just loaded. So if you're out trolling for kokanee and you keep catching trout, you're definitely not deep enough, because they're always on top of the trout. So you need to go deeper. But there's some big ones. We've been catching those Eagle Lake trout while we're trolling for kokanee, and they're 18 to 20 inches. And I think if a guy really wanted to go catch them, he could troll up higher in that 30-foot water column and do really well. And I'm sure, Comanche and Party are still closed. No boats allowed. No, not even a kayak. So those are closed. But the other lakes, I haven't heard too much, but if you go online, I would look, if you want to go up in the Sierras and go trout fishing, I would go look and see if they planted any of them, and I would head that direction. Okay, bass fishing. Like I said, the Delta's been really good. You can go to a Cinco, but I would definitely throw top water in the morning. And then after that, I've been just using a lot of chatterbaits and then flipping D-bombs and brush hogs. But I'm sure the bite, we're in post spawn, so you could probably catch them. They're starting to feed heavily again, so I would get out. I'm pretty sure you could catch them on anything. But the lakes, like Berryessa, it's been on fire this year. It's just crazy. Um, Don Pagnelli's been up there, and I've been talking to him, and he's in the morning on topwater. His client got one over 6.5 the other day. He said he lost a bigger one. And then after the morning bite shuts down, then he'll pick up, go graft around in fish points and ledges in that 25 to 35 feet of water. And he's been catching a lot of fish. He's, putting 50 fish in the boat. Austin Barker, he used to work for me, and he's been up there too. He also guides up there. And he's been doing the same thing. These guys know what they're doing. And, I guarantee you they'll be throwing topwater in the morning and then probably drop shotting or throwing a darter head with a Kitech on after that. Clear Lake's still been pretty decent. I would throw swim baits in the morning, and after that maybe turn your live on and go around the docks and look for them. Delta's been really good. Most lakes are pretty good right now. And if a guy was going to go out bass fishing, I don't care where you're going, I would tell you throw a topwater in the morning, and then either go to your drop shot or your Kitech swim bait after that. Crappie fishing, berryessa, we're still picking up a few while we're trolling for Kokanee, which is insane. I watched the graph the other day, and there was a ton of fish and bait in 10 to 20 feet, which was the bait. Then we saw a lot of groups of fish in that 20 to 30 foot right under the bait. And I imagine a lot of those are crappie. So, with this decontamination thing, I don't want to decontaminate my bass boat for $100 and then go there and look for them and then turn around and go back to Delta for one trip. So it's actually adding $100 onto your day of fishing. But I bet you I could go out there with live and find those schools and drop a crappie jig down there and probably yank them out like crazy. And the ones that are out there suspended in 100 feet of water are usually the bigger ones. So you're going to, while we're trolling, the crappie we're catching are all 1 to 2 pounds. And I want to do it really bad, but I just don't have, I don't want to spend $100 just to go see something. So I just haven't done it. But, maybe I'll try it in the Duckworth. It's a little bit hard when the wind's blowing to control a big boat like the Duckworth. Try to keep it on them. And plus, I don't have a live on the Duckworth. So we'll see what happens there. Maybe I can get Denise to go up there and with her boat and do it. So anyway, if you guys need any boat repairs, or you want to buy a new boat, or want to do any electronics, they do all that. They repair trolling motors. Gone Fishing is a full operation where they do everything. They're even doing decontaminations now. So you could go online, make an appointment, and then go in there, have your boat decontaminated. But it's only for berryessa. They're in the works of getting it done for Folsom too right now. But I think right now you might want to call them. It's only for berryessa. Then if you don't make a appointment, you could just pull up there, and if they don't have anybody there, they'll just pull you in and get it done real quick. And you could be on your way and launch your boat at berryessa. But if there's other people that have appointments, then you just have to wait. It doesn't take very long because I watch them do it, and it goes by pretty quick. So, but it's easier if you make an appointment. So I finally got that Duckworth, the boat right here. You see it, I'm sitting in it this morning, not on the water. And I finally got it broken in. So, I'm been opening it up, running, this big boat here. It does 48 miles an hour. It goes pretty fast. This boat is unbelievable. I can't believe the difference for having an offshore bracket on it. The boat's like 2 feet wider, and it handles rough water better, having that offshore bracket on there. But this thing is unbelievable. I'm really enjoying it. It's working out really nice for me. Okay, other things, California Sportsman, guys, on 1140 on the AM dial every Saturday morning. I'm on air at 6:40, and I'll be in the studio this week. So Saturday morning, turn your radios on, and I'm on from the start. And usually I go on the end of the Ultimate Bass with Kent Brown, talking about the Delta bass fishing. So if you want to get on your AM dial 1140 on your way out fishing and check us out. Also, don't forget, check out Blind Squirrel channel. He's off of Berryessa. He's out on different lakes now, and he's starting to get more informative, showing you guys exactly what he's doing and everything. So it might help you. Also, there's a new magazine. It's an online deal. It's Mixed Bag Sportsman. A couple of buddies of mine are doing it. It's very reasonable, and they send it out there. I think it's bi-weekly, but you might want to call them. You could go online, Mixed Bag Sportsman, and check it out. And then J&J Tackle. He's having a Kokanee Derby at Stampede on August 16th, and he's got a ton of sponsors, and it's free. Doesn't cost you anything. Just go up there, have a lot of fun. I'll be up there. I'll have this Duckworth boat up there, and if you want to check it out. And then, but the Derby's free. He's got a ton of prizes because he's got all kinds of sponsors. So anyway, get up there and I'll see you. It's August 16th. Put it on your calendar. And I'll probably have Blade Runner Rick with me and maybe Roger. So anyway, if you like the video, hit that like. Please subscribe. If you want to leave me a comment, I'll get back to you within a few days. And also, I'm still doing the consulting. If you need help with your electronics, or you need help on some type of fishing, say you want to learn how to kokanee fish, I'll put you on the Duckworth. We'll go out and I'll show you everything you'll need to know how to catch them. And then the easiest way, I shut my website down because it's just basically getting too busy. I only want to do this a couple days a week. The easiest way is to text me or call 916-761-7594, and I'll get back to you within a day or two. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.